The first season of LIV Golf was full of controversies, but it was also very interesting. Dustin Johnson made the most money in 2022, while Cameron Smith also showed us his strengths. The 2023 golfing season is coming up fast, and the LIV Golf League is about to start, so there are definitely players that are gaining more traction. So let's look at the best LIV golfers to watch out for in 2023. To start with, Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith has become one of the most talked about players in 2022. He was ranked 21st at the end of last year, but has already moved up 17 spots. Smith did well on both the PGA Tour and the LIV Golf in 2022. He won his first tournament of the year in January at the Century Tournament of Champions in Hawaii with a score of -34. This broke the record for the lowest score in a 72-hole regulation event. Let's not forget his win at the Players' Championship. On the 17th hole, he took a risky shot on the island green to set up a birdie and the win. His third win was a big one at the 150th Open Championship in Scotland's St. Andrews, which was a big event in its own right. All three of his wins have been capped off by rounds in the 60s, with his 64 to win the Claret Jug being the best. Smith has won 3 tournaments and has also placed in the top 10 7 times. He's third on the PGA Tour in strokes gained approaching the green and 7th in putting. But Smith had joined LIV Golf by the end of August last year and came in 4th place at his first LIV event in Boston. He won in Chicago, though, which was just his second outing. Now, Smith is easily the most exciting young talent out there. Plus, he's got massive Australian support behind him too. And of course, he'll also try to win more majors this year now that he has won the Open Championship. Coming up, Branden Grace. Branden Grace won the second LIV Golf Invitational event, which came down to the wire. The 34-year-old South African chipped in for a birdie on the par 4 16th to take a 2-shot lead with 2 holes left, and he used that lead to win at 13 under. Grace shot a 7 under 65 in the final round at Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club outside of Portland, Oregon. He only made 1 bogey and had 8 birdies, 3 of which were on the last 4 holes. Grace's last win was the 2021 Puerto Rico Open on the PGA Tour. He followed in the footsteps of fellow South African Charles Schwartzel, who won the first LIV Golf event outside of London. What's more, Grace got a huge $4 million prize for his win, which is a third of the $12.2 million he made on the PGA Tour. Even though he fell to 179th in the world, Branden was the 5th highest earning golfer on the course in the past year, according to our estimates. His roughly $17.5 million total came from the $16.6 million he won in LIV Golf, the $800,000 he won on the PGA Tour, and the almost $100,000 he won on the DP World Tour. Not to mention, he got $8 million for coming in second place in the LIV individual rankings, behind Dustin Johnson, and $4 million for winning the Portland Invitational. His team, Stinger GC, also won the first event at Centurion. Now for Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson has played golf for a long time. The 24-time PGA Tour winner, who has won 2 majors, got off to a great start with the newly formed LIV Golf. Dustin won 1 LIV Golf event in Boston, came in 2nd once, and finished 3rd twice. He also came in 5th and 8th. The team title went to his group for Aces GC. In fact, he was the first person to win a single event on the Saudi-backed tour. Now, Johnson is ranked 41st, which means that he would also be able to play in the Masters. He did very well in his first game with his new league, and he's now an important part of it. This guy was definitely a big win for LIV, and he played in all 8 of the first season's events. He was said to have been offered a fee of $125 million to join the Greg Norman-led startup, and he also made a lot of money on the course. He won $18 million as the winner of the individual competition, and another $17 million in on-course LIV earnings, both as an individual and as a part of the team. Before he joined LIV in June, the American also won about $1.6 million on the PGA Tour. This put him over the $37 million mark. Honestly, this is not bad for working for a year. We can count on the 2022 champion to keep playing well on the LIV Tour. Also, since Augusta National has given LIV Tour professionals the go-ahead, it seems like Johnson will be looking at the Masters. Next up, Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka is currently ranked 49th in the world. LIV doesn't count for the rankings, so the fact that he's still in the top 50 and would qualify for the Masters in 2023 shows what a good year he had before switching to a new league. Koepka won the 2022 LIV Golf Jeddah Invitational in a playoff against Peter Uihlein on the 56th hole. It was his first win on any tour since the 2021 Waste Management Phoenix Open, and only his second since the end of 2019. When Koepka was on the PGA Tour, he became a big name. In 2012, he started working as a professional golfer on the European Challenge Tour. Then in 2015, at the Waste Management Open, he won his first PGA Tour event. After that, he went on the run of a lifetime. He would be the first golfer in 30 years to win the U.S. Open Championship in consecutive years. Then Koepka would be the first person since Tiger Woods to defend his PGA Championship in 2018-19. No doubt, Koepka is one of the best golfers in the world that LIV has been able to hire, followed by Taylor Gooch. In the last 2 years, Gooch has always finished in the top half of the leaderboards. This has made him look like a young golfer with a lot of potential. He's also one of the most intriguing young talents to switch over to LIV. Now, Gooch had a pretty good season last season if you look into it. In November, he won the RSM Classic by himself, which was his best performance. The American finished tied for 14th at the Masters, tied for 20th at the PGA Championship, and didn't make the cut at the U.S. Open. Also, at the first LIV event in early June last year, Gooch came in 9th. Before he switched, he was also probably playing the best golf of his life. He quickly stirred up trouble in the league and didn't try to avoid it. Even though this could have led to distractions, he still had a good year. Johnson and Gooch were both on the team that won the team championships, so that tells you a lot about how fierce both of these players are. Moving on to Joaquin Niemann. The loss of Joaquin Niemann didn't hurt the popularity of the PGA Tour, but it was a worrying sign of what the future may hold. Niemann is still one of the best young golfers in the world, even though he is only 23 years old. He won the Genesis Invitational in 2022, which showed that Niemann was well on his way to becoming one of the best golfers in the world. He was on the fence about whether to join the LIV Tour or stay with the PGA, and this was pretty well known among the public. Now, Joaquin Niemann was one of the most exciting young golfers in the world, and the PGA Tour losing him could honestly prove to be an even greater loss going into 2023, but Niemann may have put a cap on how far he can go in golf. This is a player who didn't really win any events in his first season, but he came in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place, which is pretty good. Safe to say, everyone will be looking for him to do well at the LIV Golf in the coming season. Not to mention Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed, who won the prestigious Masters tournament in 2018, also left the PGA Tour last year. Reed is known for butting heads with the PGA and has been seen as a controversial figure in the sport for a while. He even sued the Golf Channel for libel because he thought that they were working with the PGA Tour to make his name look bad. When it comes to Reed, he's still one of the best golfers in the world, even though he has been in some trouble. Patrick Reed didn't win any events in 2022, but he did well in all of them. Who knows what he will be doing in 2023? Since he's super consistent, the title doesn't seem too far off. What we do know is that Reed will try to do well again in the coming year, considering he has already won the Masters in the past. Finally, Sergio Garcia. Sergio Garcia has had an amazing career on the PGA Tour. He's won 11 times, including the Masters in 2017, which would end up being his only major victory. Garcia has had some legendary moments on the tour, though, with many playoff holes on the biggest stage. He won the 2017 Masters by making a birdie on the first hole of the playoffs. Since 2019, there were rumors that Garcia would join the Saudi-backed LIV League, which was obviously a big thing considering how good of a player he is. And then he ended up officially joining LIV in April 2022 after growing tensions with tour officials. Garcia didn't make the cut at the U.S. Open or PGA Championships last year, but he tied for 23rd at the Masters in April. He hasn't been that great this past year, but he's won money in 7 of the last PGA tournaments he's played in. In London earlier this month, the 42-year-old finished with a score of +6, which was good enough for 24th place overall. That's a wrap for this video. Which LIV golfer do you think people need to watch out for in 2023? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.